Good morning, students. We are doing chapter 7, social influence in group processes. And in the previous topics, we had discussed that how the groups are powerful since they are able to influence the behavior of individuals. Today, we will discuss the nature of the influence. We are discussing two situations here. Number one, where an individual is performing an activity alone in the presence of others, which is called social facilitation. And the second one is where an individual is performing an activity along with others as a part of the larger group that is called social loafing. So as you can see from this diagram, which shows facilitation versus social loafing, it shows that how the presence of others motivates an individual, arouses an individual to enhance their performance if they are good at something. And this enhancement will take place especially when his performance is getting evaluated. So he is having an apprehension that since his performance is getting evaluated, he needs to perform better. So that leads to social facilitation. However, sometimes when the individual is performing along with the other person, his efforts may not get evaluated, which may lead to social loafing. So we will discuss social loafing in detail right now. As you can see from this picture, one person is taking a back seat and enjoying and relaxing, whereas the other people who are doing the work, they are looking at him very angrily. On the other side, you see a tug of war game going on, where you can find that certain people are shown to put in a lot of effort while pulling the rope, whereas others are taking it very lightly. So what is social loafing and how does it occur? That is what we are going to study. Social loafing, my dear students, is a reduction in individual effort while working collectively on a task. That is the one where the outputs are pooled with those of other group members. Very good example is a tug of the war situation which we witnessed in the previous slide. And the second one could be like, for example, you're working on a group project. You will find that certain people, they are heavily involved while others, they tend to relax. So this is because the others feel that when the people are there to work, then why should I be working? And that is why there is a reduction in individual effort. So what are the reasons that we can attribute for social loafing? Number one, group members, they feel less responsible for the overall task. As I told you, since the responsibility is supposed to be shared, so one person feels that others are there to share that responsibility. So he feels he feels less responsibility in that particular activity. And therefore, he is not able to exert much effort. Motivation of the member decreases because they feel that there is no acknowledgement given to their individual contributions, since it is a collective effort that will be valued. The performance of the group is not to be compared with that of the other groups. When there is no comparison that, okay, this group has done better because of these reasons, nothing of that sort is happening, then also social loafing or reduction in individual effort may take place. There is an improper coordination. Members among the group, they are not having any kind of synchronization in their efforts. And belonging to the same group is not important for the members. So it is just an aggregate of individuals. Let us understand how to reduce social loafing. I want to give you another example of social loafing before I tell you how to reduce social loafing. For example, if there were a group of students who were asked to cheer very loudly when a cricket match was going on, because the experimenters were interested in knowing how much noise people make in social settings. The results of the study showed that although the total amount of noise rose up as they increased the size of the group, but the amount of noise produced by an individual participant dropped. So each participant put in less effort as the size of the group increased. So now let us come to the fact that how we can reduce social loafing. We can reduce social loafing when we are able to appreciate and identify the contributions made by each and every member. Mind you, students, acknowledgement is a very big motivator. Second is by adopting the strategy of increasing the pressure to work hard. That is, group members should have the commitment to a successful task performance. If you give importance to a task, if you value the task, if you raise the importance of the task in the eyes of the group members, definitely it is going to increase their contribution and reduce social loafing, because people, they feel that their individual contribution is important because the task is also important. You can strengthen group cohesiveness. If you remember, we had done groups cohesiveness, that is the strong bond, or the solidarity, or the togetherness and mutual attraction among the group members, because we talked about lack of belongingness. Well, we can increase belongingness where the group, when the group members can be made to feel together, and that is what is group cohesiveness. So that group cohesiveness can further increase the motivation for a successful group outcome. Having finished group, social loafing, we will come to the next topic of group polarization. Group polarization is a very, very important phenomena in social psychology, and it is observable in many social contexts. We know that important decisions are taken by groups and not by individuals alone. For example, when decision has to be taken whether the school has to be established in a village, such a decision has to be a group decision. Similarly, studies have shown that a group of women who hold moderately feminist views tend to demonstrate heightened pro-feminist beliefs following group discussion. Similarly, after deliberating together, the jury members, they decide on who decided on punitive awards that were either large or small than the amount any individual juror had favored prior to the discussion. The studies indicated that jurors favored a relatively low award. A discussion would lead even to a much more lenient result. But if the jury was inclined to impose a stiff penalty, the discussion would make it harsher. So, what is exactly group polarization? Group polarization is basically when that it is a tendency of the group to take extreme decisions rather than individual alone. As you can see from this slide, Moscovici had conducted an experiment to examine French students' attitude towards Americans, which were initially negative, and towards de Gaulle, which were initially positive. Attitude towards Americans became more negative after the discussion than before the discussion. Similarly, attitude towards de Gaulle became more positive after the discussion rather than before the discussion. So this shows that it is only after a certain amount of discussion that you can, come to a conclusive result. That means there is a strengthening of the group's position. After the discussion, it becomes either stronger, or it can become, stronger towards a particular decision, or it can be, even negative. If it was negative earlier, it will become more negative. So here he examined the students' attitude towards Americans, and de Gaulle. De Gaulle basically was a French army officer and a statesman who led the Free French forces against Germany in World War II. So naturally, the people who were positive towards de Gaulle, they became more positive after the discussion than before the discussion. Similarly, you can see from this example that how smoking is bad, then smoking kills, and smoking should be banned. So how the discussion can lead to a final conclusive statement that smoking should be banned. So it is a concrete decision. There's an extreme opinion when you are taking part in a group. So group polarization states that groups are more likely to take extreme decisions rather than individual alone. We have already discussed this. So this strengthening of the group's initial position as a result of group discussion, whatever was the group's initial position as a great result of the group discussion, it becomes more strengthened. So there is a tendency to shift towards more extreme positions after the group discussion. This may have a dangerous repercussion, as groups may take extreme positions from very weak to very strong decisions. Why does group polarization occur? Well, you must have noted that when you are in the company of like minded people, you are likely to hear newer arguments favoring the same viewpoint. So, this will make you more favorable towards, let us say, capital punishment. When you find others also favoring the same opinion as you are having, you feel that your view is being validated by the public. This is referred to as bandwagon effect. When you find people having similar views, you are likely to perceive them as in group. We have already done the concept of in group earlier. So you start identifying with the group because they are showing conformity and your views become much more strengthened. Taking another example here, suppose there is an employee who has been caught taking some bribe or doing some unethical activity, and the colleagues have to decide whether punishment should be given, what kind of punishment should be given. Either they may let him go absolutely free without any punishment, or their services should be terminated instead of imposing a punishment which may be in tune with that unethical activity. Whatever may be the initial decision of the colleagues, this position becomes stronger as a result of discussion. This strengthening of the group's initial position as a result of group interaction and discussion is therefore referred to as group polarization. So, with this, I come to a conclusion to the two important processes today that we have learned. One is social loafing, which is a reduction in individual effort while working collectively on a task, and group polarization, which is the strengthening of a group's decision when you do a discussion or when you do a kind of deliberation of the group. So, I hope these concepts are clear. Thank you so much and have a good day.